Economics is often thought of as being largely value-free. We really value in economics the positive side of the science, where we're not talking about the way the world should be, we're just trying to explore the way the world is. So we think, and this is called positive economics. Part of what I and a number of other scholars have been trying to do over the years is to show that that model really doesn't fit, that to do economics, you are necessarily engaging social values, and these values are implicit in every aspect of what economists do. Hi, I'm George DeMartino. I'm a professor of international studies at the University of Denver. I teach in the area of international economics. What are the ethical responsibilities and duties of the economists and the economics profession as a whole to society? The economics profession has been seeking increasing influence in the world on the belief that public policy informed by economic expertise is better than public policy when economists are not involved. There's been this mission by the economics profession to increase its influence in the world, and it has been wildly successful. Today, economists have enormous impact on the life chances of others, and this has come about by design, by effort, by the economics profession. Well, the problem is when you have influence over the lives of others, you necessarily take on ethical responsibilities, professional responsibilities, difficult responsibilities, whether you recognize them or not. The problem in the economics profession is that we have chosen to act as if whatever responsibilities we have to society are so trivial and so obvious that we don't have to spend much time. We don't have to invest our intellectual capital worrying about what does it mean to be an ethical economist, as if it's an easy question. It's a terribly difficult question that the best minds in the profession ought to be focusing on. Should an economist lie? Now, that seems like a pretty obvious question, and the answer you would think is no. But now think about Ben Bernanke's role in 2008. The financial markets were imploding. He was constantly brought before Congress, and he was asked, is the world falling apart? And what did he do? He lied. Is that okay? Do we pardon him for lying? Would we have wanted him to go there and said, I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, and so run for the hill? Well, of course not. We wanted someone to come to us and comfort us by exaggerating the extent of his expertise and understanding of what was happening. If you ask most economists, did Ben Bernanke conduct himself admirably during that period, the answer would be yes. I think in that context, people want an economist essentially to lie. What if Ben Bernanke had manipulated the official data to show that the crisis wasn't as severe as it in fact was? That's just another form of lying with the same intent, which is to settle financial markets and to help to improve people's welfare during a crisis. Would economists have endorsed that form of lying? And more generally, would we permit economists to do that, to manipulate their data routinely so as to bring about better social welfare? I think most economists would say, no, there's a difference. Okay, but then what's the difference? And where do we draw the line between where economists can and even should lie, maybe are even ethically required to lie, and when are they ethically required to tell the truth? We have never, in 150 years in this profession, had that conversation. Do we need professional ethics in economics? If we do need it, what would it look like? And in particular, when you look at the different branches of economics, because it's such a wide field, what are some of the particular ethical quandaries that arise in these different fields, and how should we think about them? Economists tend to make a mistake by conflating the idea of professional ethics with a code of conduct. When you talk to economists about professional ethics, they immediately think that what you're proposing is some sort of new legislation that would restrict what they can and can't do, that would therefore involve some sort of sanctions to punish economists who fall afoul of the code. That would mean probably licensing or some sort of other intervention by the state so that you could effectively disbar economists who lie, steal, cheat, and so forth. Professional economic ethics is a field of inquiry. It's not about a code of conduct. So what we need is education and elucidation and debate. We don't necessarily need legislation. We need journals and bulletins and conferences and discussions like the one we're now having about what does it mean to have influence over the lives of others. We're not really held accountable to those that we serve. When we present ourselves as authoritative in regards to our domain of economic policy, we're essentially teaching our audiences that we have tremendous capacities to solve social problems. But if you think about it, there are severe limits to what economists actually know. When we look at practicing economists, they really don't know. There are severe epistemic knowledge limits in economics that really bear on what economists can and can't know. Why shouldn't that be a part of the undergraduate economic training? To teach students what we can't necessarily know so that they can become more critical consumers of what it is that we offer. It turns out that this is central to ethical economic behavior, because when we engage public about what we think they should do, what policies they should pursue, we tend to give the impression that we know more than we possibly can, and therefore they should have greater faith in us than is in fact warranted. What I'm starting to explore now in my work is the question, shouldn't we, instead of presenting ourselves as the all-knowing economist, present ourselves as irreparably ignorant economists who nevertheless have something to offer to public policy debate, emphasizing what we can't know so that publics can better understand the limits to our expertise?